Hi guys, so I just picked up an M60 for like 12,000 gold from the auctions, which is the equivalent of pretty much $12, and I really think it's worth it because I absolutely love this tank now. I don't actually have the M48, which is the tech tree equivalent, but when I get it, I will do a comparison video. It's not soon on my list, so it probably won't happen for a while, but I think that this tank is much better than the M48 just because of the hull armor, which I will get into in the video. The hull armor, this upper hull right here, is very, very thick, and it has 1 degree more gun depression, and there's a lot of stats in the M60 that are slightly better than the M48. The version modeled in game here is just the original M60. It's not the M60A1. The M60A1 looks cooler in my opinion. It's one of my favorite tanks in real life. It's got a different turret. It looks better. This one was used. It was replaced the M48 in 1960 and was used up until 1980 with a different turret, obviously, as they went through the variants, different modifications. It was used up until 1980 when it was replaced by the Abrams, and these are still used as main battle tanks in many countries that can't afford like a modern main battle tank like an Abrams or a Leopard or a Challenger, things like that. So these are still in service in other parts of the world. They even took part in Desert Storm, and I absolutely love this tank, and I want to show a couple of gameplay videos of it, and I definitely think it was worth it. For my equipment loadout, you can see I don't have a lot of silver, so I haven't been able to fully equip this tank yet, but when I do, I'm going to keep the gun rammer just because without it, it has kind of low DPM, it's around 3000, and it has the same standard pen that all the other tier 10 mediums pretty much have with the 105mm, like the variants of the L7 gun. So I'm used to the amount of penetration that it has because I run rammer on all my medium tanks. If I were to run calibrated on this, I would have to run calibrated on anything, and I don't want to do that. I would go with enhanced gun laying drive because that'll knock down the aiming time significantly. That'll be good. Supercharged, this thing already has really good shell velocity because it has APDS shells, so at least I think it has APDS shells. I haven't actually looked. It should because of the gun that it's using. So that means the velocity is very high. There's no need to increase the shell velocity. It's pretty much a laser pointer. And then I would do refined gun because .285 accuracy is really, really good. V-stab I don't really need, in my opinion. I don't take a lot of snapshots. This is a hold down ridgeline tank, so I'm not going to be shooting a lot while I'm moving. Here I do this one because the ammo rack in all of the main battle tanks is pretty weak, like the Leopard, the Progetto 65, and what else is there? The Chieftain. Yeah, the Chieftain has a weak ammo rack as well. They all have ammo stored in the front. What else? For this, I would pick armor, but this is honestly up to you. 2014 HP is good. A lot of people run that on the T62A. I would run armor because this turret is really effective, and it's effective to the point where if it's looking right at you, here, let me show it in the garage. If it's looking right at you fully depressed, a lot of tanks can pen this area right here and right here, but if it's like this, like, let me turn camera a little bit, if it's like that, all of a sudden you can't pen the side that's angled away. So I think if you get a little bit more armor, it'll make that much more effective, and the turret will be better. So that's one of the things that I'm going to try to get as soon as possible, because I think that'll really help bounce more shots. Engine accelerator, I always get engine accelerator because it does increase your traverse speed as well. This just increases your traverse speed more. I'm getting all the benefits here versus just one benefit. I'd rather just have this. It already has good traverse speed anyway. And then this just depends on the consumables that you run. The tanks that I don't like specialize in, I just run fire extinguisher because I don't want to get lit on fire, first of all. And for a lot of the first couple games that I have in new tanks, I'll run fire extinguisher. And if I get lit on fire, I'll keep it, unless it's like a Leopard. Like for the Leopard, for example, I run adrenaline because it has really good DPM and I want to get the most out of it. Same thing for the Russian mediums. It depends on the tank. Once I get to know it, I'll pick what consumable to use, but right now the placeholder is the fire extinguisher. If you choose to run armor on an M48 patent, your turret armor thickness will increase to 184 millimeters of raw thickness. You can see it's 177. 4% would be 184. On the M60, the raw thickness is 185 millimeters, so it's already at where basically if you're running armor on an M48, you have a stock M60. If you run armor on an M60, you get 7.4 millimeters more on top of the 185, so you get 192 millimeters, almost 200 millimeters of raw thickness on the front of the turret. Alright, so this first replay is an ace game. This is my 5th pub game. I did a couple ratings games to warm up in it just to see how the tank worked. And this was the 5th game that I did in an actual, just regular pub. So you can see we have a good platoon on our team, so we win. That's probably why. I'll check the post-game stats. I watched this game once and I played it, so I don't really remember because it was yesterday, but we'll see how it goes. We can see off the start, I'm going towards the classic medium tank area, and I think what I'm thinking here is probably I finally get to go hold down in this area in a medium tank, get there early, and be practically impenetrable if I play it right, and I'm excited for this because usually I play this in the Leopard 1 and I have to be really cautious, but I'm disappointed because there is nobody here to fight, so I don't get to immediately test out the turret armor and see how it does hold down, although I do have more replays that I will be showing next that show how ridiculous this thing's armor actually is when it is hold down, and it is crazy. That's why I love this tank. So I'm just going to keep driving and try to flank their heavies, get them spotted for our team or something. Yeah, I'm not driving back here because the team's driving forward. If the team were driving back towards the spawn, I would be following them instead of driving this way because I don't want to get caught out. I can see they have a mouse platoon driving towards the cap circle, so that's the majority of their heavies. All of their heavies are spotted. So that gives me free reign on where I want to go because unless I'm going to get rushed by a medium tank, but I can be backed up by our tank destroyers, which are both behind me. So I pull up to here. This is another good hold down spot. I spot both the mouses and I go for a shot on a hole, but the gun does not drop quick enough. Bounce HE from the WZ-121. I spot this guy out. He misses me and takes all of his HP, and I get 1200 assists from that, so not really complaining, but I don't know why he did that. Here I go to try to reset the cap circle. Mouse shoots HE at me. I don't penetrate. That should have been heat. Don't know why I used AP there. Probably forgot to switch. And then I'm going to keep trying to reset. I get the reset. He shoots HE at me again. That just shows how this turret armor works. He's not willing to actually risk the AP. He's just trying to get some damage on me. And his Object 704 is just peeking again, so I'm just going to finish him off here. And you can see how bouncy the suspension is on this tank when you're stopping or going over a little hill. I don't know why it's like that, but that is one of the things that I noticed. It's kind of like when you play War Thunder and you stop and the crosshair bounces. It reminds me of that, and I don't really like that because it makes it hard to hit stuff, but it's just a little quirk of the tank, I guess. I switch between AP and heat there. I was going to use heat the first time. You can see how that upper front plate's working though. Yeah, I was going to use heat the first time because he was angled, but then he unangled and I switched back to the AP. And especially in this engagement here, you can see the shell velocity. They're fairly well distanced from me and I'm hitting them really easily. I don't pen there because the tank bounces, so it's kind of hard to hit snapshots on this. This is why I want to run on improved accuracy over the enhanced gun laying drive. Actually, no, I was going to run enhanced gun laying drive. It was the third tier one that does aim time. V-stab, vertical stabilizer. I don't want to run that because even though the aim time might be lower and it can help you shoot on the move, it's still bouncy, so the gun's actually not pointing where your crosshair is when you're slowing down or bouncing and stuff. So it's not going to help you as much as improved accuracy would because you have to kind of aim this anyway. So I'm going to finish him off. It has great HE damage. It has better HE damage than the Leopard, which I really like. I was finding that out as I was shooting him. I get the track there and the penetration. He bounces off of me. He stops the shell in my tracks. And then I can pull forward and finish off this WZ-121. Take the hit from him, don't really care. I was already on a one hit from the 183's AP shell anyway. So all this really does is make him more likely to kill me with the Hesh splash, but Hesh usually does between 4 and 450 when it doesn't pen, so I'm not really worried unless he shoots AP at me. He already fired anyway, so everything that I'm saying doesn't really matter. I'm just going to come up behind him. Can't pen the HE. It has around 50 something millimeters of high explosive penetration. I thought the FE had less than that in the rear, but it does not. I get the track there so I can get the damage assist from the E100 shoots. and then I finish him off. And you can see I did 2,454 damage assist. So that on top of 5,300 damage, I was pretty sure I was going to get an ace, and 1,000 damage blocked. It was an ace tanker. I used a gold booster, got 20 gold off of that. And you can see the team scores there. That was a really fun game in this tank. I really like this tank. 44,000 credits. This tank does not make credits. I wouldn't say that it's like a premium like the Chieftain is. It doesn't really make credits very well. I lost credits on losses and I got credits on wins. So if you're looking for a credit grinder, this is not the tank. That's it for this replay. Here's another replay that I don't remember what happens in, so I'm just going to be doing a quick commentary on what goes on, and it's just kind of raw footage from my M60 gameplay last night. I might play a couple more games if these aren't good enough. I don't remember anything of what happened, so this is a ratings game. I actually do remember now, vaguely. I don't remember if it's a good game or a bad game, but we can hope it's a good game. I'm going to pull up to this bush here so I can shoot at whoever is trying to cross to their medium tank corner, which is not a good position. You shouldn't cross to there. I initially don't go to a good spot because I wasn't in the bush. There you can see how good this shell is. It hits instantly. I was able to hit that snapshot on the enemy M60. And then quickly poke out and hit the snapshot on the FV there. And I'm just going to keep farming this FV because I'll miss that, sure. My aim was off last night as well. I was playing on a different computer. I keep switching between them and I'm screwing it up. Yeah, so you can see there that missed because of the bouncy suspension. I hit the reverse to sort of back up after I fired, and the suspension bounced and I did not hit. So unfortunate, but when I learn the tank that won't happen anymore, and I'm looking forward to that moment. So you can see I bounced heat from the M60 there. As long as you're moving, hold down tanks are usually like this. You can see how red his turret is, except for the cupola. Hold down tanks are usually, you can't just sit there hold down, you have to be moving. That's exactly how this is. As long as you're wiggling and stuff, nothing's really going to pen you reliably. You can't rely on your armor, but it will save you. And then here, I'm going to jump in and just try to drive between the WZ and the two mediums there. And I'm trying not to hesitate, but I am hesitating, and I just say whatever, stop hesitating. So I just go in, finish off the enemy M60, load, and then I finish off the FB. No, I don't finish off the FB. Should have watched this game beforehand. I do remember though I take 3 blind shots on this bush because the first one doesn't go exactly where I want it to. The second one sort of does, but then I see a dirt splash right there below, and I didn't know if it was like right here. I didn't know if I was getting server lag or something, and it didn't actually hit where I thought it did, so I put a third one in. Spoiler, the FB is spotted somewhere else. If he wasn't, I wouldn't put it past an FB215 B183 player to just sit there and take 3 blind shots. But I'm going to start putting the gun to use at long range. That one goes in. Looks like it did, at least. There's no way it did unless you just decided to reverse for no reason. But you can see this tank's pretty mobile as well. It's not slow. That's because it is a main battle tank. If Wargaming modeled it as slow, that would have been stupid. You get the shot in there. It's a snapshot that was unaimed and it hit, which I'm happy about. These are all replays of me sort of testing the tank to its limits. If I'm playing a Leopard here, I'd aim more and farm more. I should have been chasing this E100, by the way. I don't know what I'm doing. I lose probably 2 shots, I'm assuming here, because I didn't chase him. If I chased him and was right behind him, I'd still be shooting him out if I got to work. But I didn't. Whatever, it's a mistake. Won't do it next time. And I'm aiming for his fuel tank, which is on the left side of his engine block, or the right side of his engine block, either one. But I'm doing that because engine fires are likely and rewarding. And he repaired the first one, but I damaged it again. I think if he had not repaired his first fuel tank, I would have lit him on fire there. So it shows how easy it is to get an engine fire, and you should try it. Here, I take the shot from the 183, but I side scrape to try to see if he will bounce. I don't really care if I get penned because I'm full HP and the game's over. I'm just looking for damage. So I'll take him if he gets a shot into me. I really don't care. You can see just how bouncy the gun is. It's kind of incredible. I think that's probably the main flaw of this tank. Just, of all things, a bouncy gun. Unfortunately. Whatever, that's a 4,300 damage game. 3 kills. Fairly decent. First class. And There are the team scores. Okay, so this game sucks. I have actually a clanmate and a clan family mate. VND is our second clan. He's on the top there on the left. He's in our clan family. So there's 3 players that are from the same clan family here, which is kind of funny. But the game itself is not very good, but it just shows this thing's armor. This was one of my first games. It's another ratings game, so obviously I did the ratings games first. This was one of my first ratings games that I did in it, and I was trying to see what the armor would do against tanks that have powerful guns, let's say. The 183 being the main tank that I would like to test it again. So I go to the same spot I always do. I always go to the spot, everyone knows that, whatever. Bounce the FV, would never hope to pen that shot. That was the cheek of the turret. I'm in a medium tank without calibrated shells. That's just not going through, and I'm shooting AP. So I take the shot anyway. You always take a snapshot like that. And I'm just debating on where to go here because I don't want to get pushed, so I drive up to this cover, see if there's anything to shoot at. And it's just a Cronron. He's not going to expose his lower plate. But you can see he hesitated on me. If I was in like a Leopard, he would have just gotten the shot on me. That's why I feel comfortable doing it in this tank, because it's got good turret armor. And here, I bounced literally 1330 damage right off the bat. Right into the manlet or something. Side of the turret, maybe. I'm looking at the hatch, seeing if I can snag it there. There's a lot of those shots where I miss, and this game actually makes me have physical pain, the amount of missed shots that I have. Usually I don't play like this, please do not judge, but it happens. I bounce a lot of damage, and I'd rather show that. You can see he bounces the upper front plate there. That probably would not have been a bounce with a M48 pat, which is one of the reasons why I like this. It's kind of like an E50 the upper hole. Just trying to shoot the hatches there. Very unlucky that I'll hit them. But I'm keeping him distracted because he can't overextend on our heavies if I'm just shooting at him. I could have taken that shot, I probably should have. I'm up to 2k block now because the Cronron can't pen my turret either. And then I'm going to try to shoot the 183 because he's sort of exposed, and I'm seeing what the accuracy of this gun is, and it is good. It is an accurate gun. You can see there. Hit that shot, barely aimed. Well, not barely aimed, it didn't take me long to aim. Almost got the track shot off there. Thought I was going to get penned here, but he just straight up missed. Do I get another one in? Yeah, you can see how bouncy this tank is, and it's really weird. I wonder if they're going to change that in the future. I try to wiggle, and I don't know if he bounced because I wiggled, or if he just bounced because the turret armor is so good, but you can see I missed that shot because the suspension won't stop wobbling. And I missed that shot because the gun depression pops up at the last second there. I wasn't ready for it. That one, no idea. There's going to be a ton of shots like this, I'm sorry, but I wanted to show you the armor over my bad gameplay. Like, as you can see, bounced the shot, but I shot the ground. And I'm really frustrated during this game because every single shot is like that, basically. But you can see him bouncing my turret, and I refocused the 183 because he is low, and I want his gun out of the game because I don't like getting clapped for half my HP in a single shell. It's not fun. And I get the track there. That was the shot I was originally trying to get, and I finally get penned. It's the first time I get penned, and that looked like server lag to me, to be honest, because I'm shooting at or not server lag, just ping on my part. I'm shooting at the left side of his hole, and the shell hits sort of outside the aim circle, so no, maybe I was lagging. I'm gonna pull up here and pen the side of this turret. And try to do it again. I ricochet the side of his turret. I think that watching these replays, I wasn't noticing this while I was playing. The biggest issue with this tank is the bouncing suspension, and even though it can have good aim time, I don't think that will fix it, because even though your gun is aiming in fast, it is not actually pointed where you want to quickly, so it's really interesting. This is the only tank that's like this that I've ever played. I haven't played the M48, I don't know if it's the same way. But it does hit shots, it's not a bad gun, and it's not a bad tank, I really like the tank. you can see the shots that I bounced were better than the shots that I was bouncing, because the FV has good armor, we know that. The M60, I'm trying to find out, so I'm happy that those bounced. I'll take this result. I want to stop it before it ends and just show the hit markers on my turret and see where people are actually shooting me. You can see these did not pen. I've only gotten penned in the lower plate, I think. I should have stopped it somewhere else. Maybe they did pen. Maybe my turret was turned. But you can see the amount of hits on my turret. There's one there, there's two here, there's two here, there's one in the mantlet that only penned the mantlet. That was probably the 183. Yeah, so the turret is a bullet magnet. Actually, I think they did pen the lower hull, and the hit markers aren't showing up because I know that I bounced the Kronman shot on the upper hull, and I don't know if the hit markers go away once there's a certain amount of them on the tank. But I'll just finish up with no problem. Let me look again. I really thought that I bounced stuff on the upper hull. Yeah, maybe they do go away. Maybe the ricochet modeled wrong, but from the angle it should have been the upper hull. Anyway, I blocked 3,000 damage and did 3,700. That is heavy tank stuff right there. Another first class. That should not have. I should not be able to do that in a medium tank, in my opinion. But I'm not complaining because I have it. So, yeah.